Hey, everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms. I'm joined here, as always, by my partner in crime, Sam Schneider. And this is the week 3 preview of Jungle Talk.
Here we
Yeah.
go, baby. Who day? Who
Hooday,
day?
hooday. So, all right, we're a little more upbeat. We kind of decompressed over the last one. I want to say our shows after a loss, they're very hoping that they're as therapeutic for our viewers as they are for us, because I know you and I are very somber when we start out. We're like, all right, let's get this over with. And then
Yeah.
by the end of the episode, we hit the stop record button and we go, wow, I feel a lot better, because you kind of vent, you get it out. So I'm hoping that after losses, maybe the show is therapeutic for our viewers as well. So
Yeah, half the time I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to do one. And but once I do, like you said, it helps me decompress,
yeah.
helps me kind of talk it out a little bit.
Hmm.
And apparently there were, 1,400 something people out there that felt the same way,
Yeah.
because I know how it is. After a loss, a lot of times you don't feel like, watching highlights or hearing people talk about it. But thanks everybody for checking in and all the comments.
Yeah, and with that, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask.
It's
And
free.
yeah, it's free. And hit the thumbs up button. Help us out with the AI analytics. So really
Yeah, and pop
appreciate
that
it.
pop that little bell so you know every time we dropped a new one.
And I loved seeing that we had like 87 or something comments. So I
Hmm.
love that everybody's interacting with one another. So let's keep that going. We're going to do what we usually do on these previews. We're going to talk about the things we're concerned about and the things we're feeling good about. We always start with the negative to get that out of the way. We can actually, there's no real news to talk about. The only thing newsworthy is the injury report. So we could start there in the negatives. I mean, obviously, Leo Collins hasn't practiced the last 2 days.
Right.
Is back. So, I
Just put
mean,
a traffic cone out there.
well, he's played. Usually, I would say, "Oh my gosh, this is our big tackle signing." All this, but he's played so poorly the first two
Right.
weeks. I don't know that there's a major fallback with Adeniji. So,
Right.
I mean, I'm hoping that as the team gels and Collins gets, maybe this is one of the reasons why we knew he had this at camp, and that's why he didn't play a lot. So, so there's a chance he doesn't play this week. I mean,
Yeah.
he hasn't practiced 2 straight days.
I would think that he would be out there and they're just handling him with kid gloves because he's a veteran. But I don't know for sure. I'm not at practice, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Haven't talked to anybody, inside the organization.
Well, this week is a real, and I was going to save this from my conclusion, but I'll say it now because it segues in really well. This is a really good test for our offensive line this week, because this is not the two defensive lines that we just faced. And if they cannot pass protect and open up holes for Mixon, this, I'm not saying the Jets are terrible, but there's nothing. There is no Micah Parsons. There is no TJ Watt
Right.
on this defense. And there's absolutely, and they stole a game last week, which we're all happy about. I mean, I don't know anybody other than the fans of the Ravens to are the or the
Cle-
Browns,
Cleveland. Right.
to well, both teams melted down and lost
Right.
the game. But I don't know that there's anybody that was they were up what 17 points with a minute and a half to go or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were obviously watching our Bengals, screw up, but that's that game, this isn't that kind of a defense. They stole a game last week. So,
Yeah, I mean, they still have John Franklin Myers and Quinnen Williams, who are good players. But they each only had, 6 sacks last year. So, like you said, they're not wrecking crew guys, like a Watt or a Parsons. Keep in mind, we'll probably see our old buddy Carl Lawson rotating in on the edge, because he was, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was hurt week 1, and then he had a half a sack last week. So, he's going to be, he'll be itching to get back there
oh
against his
yeah.
former team.
Yeah, he'll definitely be itching to get back there. But there's a chance, like I said, maybe Collins gets spelled with the Denergy. I don't know how but there's a concern. The other thing, it was good that Hayden Hurst was the other one. I mean, obviously, Sample's out for weeks. We know that.
Yeah.
But Hayden Hurst was limited in practice on Wednesday, and he practiced fully today. So we'll have Hayden Hurst. He's had like 5 or 6 catches in each of the I think he's got 11 catches total. One a week was 5, one week was 6, as I recall. I have him in fantasy, which was the reason why I saw the number of catches. But we need him. He's clearly showing that we're going to be using the tight end more. So
Right. Well, and not only, just because of his performance thus far, but if Burrow stays true to what he said, I've got to get the ball out quicker. That's where a lot of times the tight end comes into play. So I could see Hayden get even more targets at this point.
I'm starting him this week, so I'm hoping so. The middle of the field's wide open. I don't understand why we're not. I read an article. I can't remember who wrote it, or I'd give you credit for it. But I was doing one about saying, have we forgotten the slot receiver? Have we forgotten slants over the middle? So,
Right.
so hopefully we rediscover that, because I saw several plays where the middle was wide open. The guys were covered on the outside. If we just had somebody leaking out, I think part of that has to do with the fact that we've been keeping Hurst back to block. But
Right.
we'll see what happens there. So, but that's a concern. Our offensive line's a concern. I mean, we're in a funk right now. I wrote that. We are in a funk. We're in a funk. We expected to at worst be 1-1 right now, and we're 0-2, and we could have won either one of those games. So, we need to right the ship. O-line's not playing well together.
Mm-hmm.
And then and the offense, I wrote down here, offense is anything but high powered. We all expected this offense to put up some big numbers.
Right.
I think Burrow's not taking what the defense is giving. You were trying for the bigger plays. We need to just start moving the ball downfield.
Well, and one begets the other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When the offensive line isn't playing well, then all of a sudden the offense starts to sputter. And that's where, like I said, Burrow needs to get the ball out a little quicker unless he knows he's got time. I think we really need to look into the idea of dumping the 5 wide receiver set. There's just not enough guys protecting him on the line, and I know they love to run 5 wide, and you love to see it out there. You know what I mean? Wow, any of these guys could get the ball. But at the same time, if you just make it 4 and keep an extra tight end back,
Right.
all of a sudden now you're working a long way towards helping out your offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. And unfortunately, because of what's transpired the first 2 weeks and what we have coming up, a short week against the Dolphins and then the Ravens, I consider this a must-win game.
Yeah.
I mean, we go to 0-3, we lose to the Jets. We're coming home on a short week against the Dolphins that have been playing well. And you got the Ravens to follow. Now, we could be in a spiral. So
Right.
I always used to say I coached girls soccer for 6 years before my daughter played high school soccer. And I always used to tell the girls, every streak starts with 1.
Right.
It's real simple. We were chasing 2 goals at half. It's like there's no 2-goal kick. Okay. Every
Right.
streak starts with 1. Let's start with a stop. Let's not allow anything else. Let's start with a stop and start the streak. So the thing is to just let's get our first win this week. Then we're
Right.
looking at getting to 500 on Thursday night, getting
Yeah.
back to even. We're only chasing 1 game in the division, and you got the
Yeah,
Browns.
and that's why even a minor streak at this point, goes a long way. I mean, one of our division mates is going to lose tonight. So
Yeah, well, for sure. So the best you're going to have there, and they're both 1-loss teams. So you're still only going to be 1 back if you win this week.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, like I said, every streak starts with 1. So let's
Right.
get the first one this week. Do you have anything else in terms of stuff
Well,
you're
I would
concerned about?
just caution people. It's not quite the same old Jets on offense. Joe Flacco doesn't particularly scare me, although he had a nice chunk of yards last week and threw for 4 touchdowns, no turnovers, which was I kind of looked at it and I was like, really? But you got Michael Carter was their starting running back last year, or at least looked to be taking over the reins. Now Breece Hall comes in, and it looks like Breece Hall's the guy, and Carter's going to be more of a pass catching guy. I'm worried about Garrett Wilson. He is their rookie, and by all accounts, right now, after 2 games, he already looks like the rookie wide receiver 1 from this draft class. He is just tearing people apart. So we need to keep a close eye on him. Everybody thought Elijah Moore was going to be the guy in New York, and Garrett Wilson came in and said, "Nope, I'll take that."
Right. He was
So
picked up in our fantasy league. I'm in a dynasty league, and he was picked up right away. So,
yeah,
and rightly so. So yeah, he's a concern. But the fact you brought up something, the fact that Flacco had 4 touchdowns against the Browns. I mean,
right.
it kind of, that's he had his game day.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and we know Flacco. So,
we do very well.
and he's exactly what we're looking for in terms of he's not a mobile guy. He's not gonna, beat you with his legs. So, I mean, if we are, this is like I said, this is a real test for our team. We're really going to get a litmus test as to where our team's at because, like, the Jets they're okay, but they're not. If we can't win this game, we have bigger issues than the
Yeah,
Jets.
actually, that was when you said they're okay. That was what I thought of before we came on today. The Jets are a team that does a lot of things pretty good, but they're not great in any one area. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's certainly a beatable team. I just caution everybody to be like, God, I can't believe we let the Jets score. The Jets have a pretty decent
Oh,
offense, so.
any team can score in any given week. Any team can rise up. So don't ever think we're going to go in there and just dominate, especially
Right, and
games.
they've they've
Even if,
they've got some weapons. They've
yeah,
got some weapons.
yeah. So, and we are the defending AFC champs, so teams aren't looking past us. Last year, you might have had teams going, yeah, yeah, same old Bengals. No, we weren't, and we took advantage of that. Well, we're not sneaking up on anybody this year.
No, now we're getting everybody's best shot.
Yeah. But this team, this is the week. I mean, like I said, I hate to say a must-win game in week 3, but this is a must-win game. We've
Yeah,
got to.
we got to get off the mat.
Yeah. So positives. The biggest positive I can think of is we're not looking past this game. I
Right.
mean, if the first 2 weeks weren't a slap in the face to wake up, all you have to do is go back to last season when we took it for granted and blew our game against the Jets. So I think that plays to our advantage that we're not looking past the Jets because of what happened, the last 2 weeks and because of what happened last year. So I think they're going to be ready to play.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think we're looking past them either. I just what I want to see that we talked about a lot after that game last week was energy. We haven't had the same energy that we had last year. We haven't had the same, kind of us against the world mentality. So maybe that's what 2 losses do to you to start the season. So I'd like to see them come out, kind of pumped up. And of course, Uzama's going to be on the other side. Maybe we could talk him into coming over and giving one of his pep talks before the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And get us fired up.
It was funny. Someone in the comments, and I think it was this last week, put something down about the look of Joe Burrow when he's sitting on the bench. And he
Yeah.
doesn't have that same, even when something bad happens, he used to have like no big deal, guys. We're coming. You could see it in his eyes. He's going back. And so, like I said, you're talking about energy. That's what the team's lacking right now.
Right. Well, and I said that
yeah.
I said that in our video on Sunday
Yeah.
that, a couple times when he was walking off the field, after a 3 and out or whatever, it's just his visage, like his eyes were just kind of, I don't know, like almost kind of glossed over, you know what I mean? So that was surprising to see. So, like I said, I want to see energy, and I think that we're going to bring it because everybody in that locker room's got to know we can't afford to lose this game. So I'd like to see them get all pumped up and come out and start flying around like we know they can.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, to win this game and then win the Dolphin game and go into our mini bye,
Right.
at 2-2 would be a huge recovery, setting up for the showdown with the Ravens. So,
Right.
and we have a better roster. I mean, we have more talent on our team. So I mean, this is a game we should win.
Right.
So I'm just like I said, we should have won the last 2 weeks, but we didn't. So this is one where it's time to right the ship. So I don't have any really thing else to add. I talked about us knowing Flacco. and not looking past this game. I'm ready
Well,
to see.
I mean, to be completely honest, I was thinking about it before I came on, and I was thinking, what do I feel good about? And the answer is there's just so many question marks right now. It's hard for me to point to one thing and be like, I feel good about that. You know what I
Right.
mean? The game against Dallas just left so many question marks and things up in the air. I just, like I said, all I can do is hope. I hope we come out with the energy. I hope we come out with better play calling. I hope the offensive line stays intact and opens up some holes for Mixon, not for them.
Right.
Um, that's really all you can do right now. There's not one thing I can point at and say, I feel really good about that.
Yeah, because when we come out of preseason, I mean, we're thinking this is going to be an unstoppable offense. I actually in Dynasty, I have Patrick Mahomes and Cooper Kupp. So I actually offered Patrick Mahomes straight up for the guy who's got Burrow, and he
Right.
turned down that trade. And I offered Cooper Kupp straight up for the guy who has Chase, and he turned it down. And I'm sitting here going, well, if you've seen Cup's first 2 weeks and you've seen Mahomes' first 2 weeks, I'm
Right.
really glad they turned down those trades.
Yeah,
But,
of course.
from a fantasy perspective, I offered those trades with the idea that we were going to have this high powered offense. We really felt like it, and we just haven't seen it yet.
Right.
So maybe this is the week. This is the get right week. It has to be. So
One thing to note against the Browns, before all the hubbub at the end, Nick Chubb averaged over 5 yards a carry in that game, and Amari Cooper caught 9 balls for over 100 yards.
yeah.
That doesn't mean automatically that we're going to do that, but it means they're susceptible.
Well, if Jacoby Brissett can do that, why can't Burrow and
Right.
company do that? That's what I meant about we have better personnel, and so we've got to make that happen. It just has to.
All starts in the trenches.
Yeah. So and that's it. We have lost both games in the trenches.
Yep.
Our defense, we did not get anywhere near the pressure we need to get on Cooper Rush or on Trubisky. That's the thing that scares me the most is we played two very meh quarterbacks
Right.
and lost to both of them. So that's where you kind of go, yeah, it's you were saying you don't know what we're going to get. We don't. So this is the week to kind of let's step out, let's get some momentum, and we'll carry that into the short week. So
Right.
with that, let's do game predictions. What do you
Sure.
got?
I'm going to say that we do win this game. I'm also going to say that there's still going to be a few issues, but that we'll overcome them, at least in the script of this game. I think we're going to give up some points to the Jets. And Joe Flacco. I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe he's still in the game. But I think the Bengals take it home. I'm going to say 27-17.
Oh, wow. You know what? Again, you were so close. I had 27-20. Okay.
How
So
do we do that? How do we do that?
we don't talk about it before
We're within
anything.
3. We're within 3 of each other, like every
Yeah, well, the
single
last couple
week.
weeks, I mean, we're so
Of course, thus far we've both been horribly
oh
wrong.
yeah, I couldn't. I mean, week one, I had us destroying the Steelers. Remember, I
Right.
said they were just gonna have a junk touchdown at the end to make it
Right.
look a little closer. Nothing was. Oh, so yeah, so that's it. This is an important week, guys. Like I said, I hate saying must win in week 3, but I really feels that way for me.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
So otherwise, let's not even talk about it because we're going to win this Sunday against the Jets.
We're busting out the horn and the quacker.
And we will be back. We love to do the shows right after the game ends if possible, so you capture all the emotion. Obviously, the last 2 weeks, it's been a lot of disappointment, but the only way to capture that is to record right away. So we'll be on right after the game recording and getting the video up for you. So please tune in for that. And obviously, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and we'll be back on on Sunday, hopefully after a win. We'll be blowing the horn for the first time. Wait, where is it? There it is.
That's
horn
right.
Quacker back there. So we'll be blowing that hopefully this week, and we get off to Schneid. So anything to plug or anything?
No, I'll just tell everybody, you can find us on Twitter. I am at Buy and Sell You. Mark is at LA Bengals Fan. And feel free to give us a follow. We post a lot of Bengal stuff on there. But other than that, like he said, like, subscribe, share away, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Sounds good. All right. With that, I'm going to say, who everybody?
Who dey?
Take care.